See.
Sure.
Hi, Quanah. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Quanah Parker Brightman. I'm Executive Director of United Native Americans. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah.
I'm just kicking back at the house right now, trying to relax,
So we're getting ready for tomorrow, where there's an auction plan to auction off this house.
God, I know.
So it's a lot going on.
Yeah, tremendous amount of things going on right now. I mean, where to begin as far as like all the issues that our family's been dealing with, been attacked by, IRS, been attacked by, of course, federal government, constant enemy. And right now they're really trying to just, steal, more Indian land.
Yep.
Well, this is, I mean, it's ridiculous. This is indigenous people, I mean, I was taught by my father, who founded the first Native American Studies program, the history, the real history of, what happened to us. And, I just think it's really disgusting that, here we are, 21st century, we have a new movement going on right now. And I'm glad that the people are now, that's very good, because now people, the conscious level of everybody is now awakening, and the spirit, is finally there, where people are, coming to rise up. And we need the movement. Movements are our goal, movements are people, and what we've signified as far as like my mother and father's legacy, and what I have to carry on, carry forward in the best way that I can with the limited resources that I have at my disposal. It's mainly my heart, It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I gotta do what I gotta do.
You wanna talk to us about your the history of your family? And I know your dad was involved with the occupation at Alcatraz.
Oh man, well, my father, let me begin. He was born in 1930 out there at Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation. He was born during the Depression, and he's going out in the Depression. And it's very sad for an elder who has done tremendous things for us as indigenous people and signifies freedom. Freedom and the full on education and brilliance of a true modern day warrior.
Do you want to talk about the kind of the work he did during his activism and also as an educator?
Oh yeah, I mean, my father, he started out, God, he came from nothing. He lived in Oklahoma shortly after being born in the Cheyenne Sioux Reservation, and lived out there in Oklahoma for a long time. He faced racism, especially in those early days. Growing up, he played in football. He was a professional football player. Played up in Canada. He was, of course, after that he blew out his knee after being all state and got college. Doing tremendous things as far as using his body as a tool, as a vessel to achieve something, to get out of this little one-horse town, which was where he grew up at in Eufaula, Oklahoma. And the will and determination that I've seen, what my father has accomplished, it's just like, wow, man. I mean, came from nothing, and he went on to achieve so many tremendous things and win many battles and wars.
Can you list a few of those?
Oh yeah, I mean, he started the first, of course, he started his first involvement in Indian affairs was when he started, he actually went over there and became the director of the Indian Center in San Francisco. Got back in, what was that, 65, 66. And basically that was when, he started modernizing that particular facility for all the people who came out on the relocation program. And there was thousands of Indians who came in. He was the only person in the community, at the community center, who was on the board who had a degree. So they were like, wow, you know, why don't you run for president?
I'm assuming that they know.
Since he had a degree.
You're right.
And he did, and then that's when he started, you know, really modernizing the place and, you know, bringing in, you know, new things and modernize the place where, you know, people came in. It wasn't just, you know, one day a week you have a meal. Every night there was a meal.
So then when did he move on to UC Berkeley?
Oh yeah, well, that was his early beginnings. And then, you know, shortly after, you know, they booted him out because he started picketing. Founded the movement out here in the Greater Bay Area, made it popular for people to go out and picket. You know, big time Indian militant. You know, my father is really good looking, had a crew cut in those days before he even had long hair. You know, and came out, and you know, he started the movement out here, and they got upset with him. Those Indians on the Indian board. They said, well, we don't like you being out there, you know, picketing and, you know, raising hell. You're acting like a black person.
But hang on.
And my father said, well, you know, they said Indians don't picket. My father said, the hell they don't. I'm an Indian, and I picket. And Indians picket, you know, and he got them riled up and, you know, got the women on his side. That was the main thing, you know, like the women, you see it now. That's where history is repeating itself. That's where I see, like, you know, as far as the beginning of around here, where the homeless civil rights movement here in Berkeley and Greater Bay Area, like as far as my father and what UNA signifies and has meant to our community, and just the leaders who have come from that, and the programs that they've set up, like Dr. Jack D. Forbes. He was the one who came up with the idea United Native Americans.
Okay.
And he was one of the first Native American PhDs in America. You know, one of the first 10 PhDs. That's how many we had before they started the Native American Studies program at UC Berkeley during the Third World Strike. And basically, you know, they threw my father out. Let me back up. They threw my father out over there for being too militant. You know, he's too militant. You know, they couldn't accept that. You know, they're just like, oh, you're too angry, you're too militant. You know, I get that from time to time. You know, people kind of throw me in that mix. But, you know, my father, though, getting back to him, man, like, his inspiration on me, like, the inspiration that he brought out to people, you know, he was like modern day Crazy Horse. And he did it in such an eloquent way where he had an education. You know, he had he had a master's degree. And then, you know, of course, he started the Native American Studies program, and, you know, he knew about all the laws. That was the main thing. He would teach and, you know, pass on to all of the thousands of students that he had for, God, what, you know, almost 40 years of being an educator. And that's beautiful to see that, you know, that dream of what the Native American Studies program is, and what, you know, is really, quite honestly, right now, that's being threatened too. So as far as ethnic studies, like, I mean, you know, that dream we got to strengthen too. Is something that, you know, has been the main modern tool that has helped us as far as advances people and to get respect for one another. Like, as far as ethnic studies, when you look at the overall perspective of it, of all the cultures.
Right. So, and your father's also a veteran.
Oh man, like, that's the thing, you know, Pops, you know, he went into the Korean War. He was a Marine. Marine.
He was, but when he had awards.
Yeah, he was awarded the Purple Heart. Oh God, he went into Korea. You know, they drafted him into the army after he well, it's a long story, but he basically he was in college. He was playing football in college. He got mad at the coach. The coach you know, didn't like Indians, and my father had a knee injury, so to top it all off, and then they got into it, and basically my father quit the team. But our people are supposed to be. Then they drafted him in the army, and he said, well, forget that, you know, F that, I'm going into the Marines. So he went into the Marines. Man, you know, he wasn't even there. He said his first 11 days he got wounded.
Oh, wow.
You know, got hit with a mortar round, wounded, you know, and he's still, even today, when we were traveling the last time out to Rapid City for protest out there at Mount Rushmore, he basically he set off the metal detector.
Right,
You know,
because of his knee.
through. Yeah, still with his knee and when his back and shoulder from getting blown up, you know, going to fight this war.
So it's amazing to hear about your dad, and he's the person, Indigenous veteran whose home is being foreclosed on by Wells Fargo, and the auction is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a sad day for, you know, our family, and then of course my